Morning everyone, myself Mubina. I am from 10th standard. Today I am going to tell about COVID vaccines. Before seeing what is a COVID vaccine and how does it work, we'll see what is a vaccine. A vaccine stimulates immune response to produce antibodies, and in simpler words it prompts the immune system how to react when a foreign material enters. How does a vaccine work? Now, regardless of what the vaccine is made up of, what the vaccine is working against, which particular disease, every vaccine typically contains an agent that resembles a disease causing microorganism, and this is often made from its weakened or killed forms sometimes. Now, what is this agent? This agent is antigen or the blueprint itself. Antigen is nothing but the virus itself, and blueprint is nothing but RNA. We'll see it further, the examples in COVID vaccine. Now this vaccine, which is completely not harmful for our body, is injected to our body when our immune system identifies that this is a pathogen. Pathogen is nothing but disease causing organisms. It identifies the pathogen and it starts producing antibodies in our body. Now when these antibodies are produced, they go and stick to the spike protein of the virus. We'll see what is a spike protein in further. When these are stick to the spike protein, the power of producing or making its replica of the virus will be completely destroyed. This is how a vaccine works, and this is if I have to tell, vaccine is a duplicate of that particular virus. Now when we are affected with the actual virus itself, our body is all well trained and well set to destroy the virus. It knows how antibodies should be produced. So this is how a vaccine works. Now we'll see an example such as measles, chickenpox and flu. These are all the existing pathogens. But they also have existing antibodies for it. But when a new pathogen enters, there is no antibody produced. This is where our vaccine helps our body to create antibodies. For every new antigen in our body, it needs to build a specific antibody that can grab the antigen and defeat the pathogen. Now, what are the ingredients used in a vaccine? Each vaccine component contains several ingredients which serve a specific purpose, and each ingredient undergoes many various tests for its safety. The first is antigens. As we have discussed earlier, it is the active component which generates an immune response. The next is preservatives. Preservatives prevent the vaccine from becoming contaminated once the vial is open. What is a vial? Vial is a small glass bottle that we use to store vaccines. Now, the commonly used preservative is 2-phenoxyethanol. Next is our stabilizers. Stabilizers prevent the occurring of chemical reaction between the ingredients of a vaccine. See, vaccine is made up of several ingredients. Now, to avoid the chemical reaction between them, the stabilizers are used to keep them neutral. Not neutral, but to keep them stable without any reaction. And also they help them for not being sticking to the vials of the vaccine. Now, the examples of the stabilizers are sugars, amino acids. Examples of sugars are lactose and sucrose. Amino acids such as glycine and also gelatin and protein are also used as stabilizers. The next is surfactants. These surfactants keep all the ingredients in the vaccine blend together. If I have to tell in simple words, they keep the consistency of the vaccine so that every component is mixed well and good to its optimum utilization. And these surfactants are often used in our ice creams. And then is residuals. Residuals are nothing but they are the tiny amounts of various substances that are used during the manufacturing of vaccine are nothing but residuals. And adjuvants. Adjuvants are something that improves the immune response to the vaccine, sometimes by keeping the vaccine at the injection site for a longer or by stimulating the local immune cells. These are adjuvants. And next is our dilutants. As the name suggests, dilutant is a liquid used to dilute the vaccine to its correct concentration immediately or prior to use. These were the ingredients of the vaccine. Let's see roadmap of vaccine. What are the steps that a vaccine should undergo to be certified that this should be used to the corresponding virus? See, phases of vaccine. First, it goes under screening and evaluation. In this stage, it is determined whether the agent that we are using should be used to invoke the immune response. Is this eligible to use to invoke immune response or not is tested. If it is certified, then it is sent to the preclinical stage. In this stage, the vaccine is tested on animals to test whether it is safe or not and to test its potential to prevent diseases. Next, it is sent to the clinical stages. Clinical stages is typically of 3 phases. In phase 1, a small group of volunteers are picked up. They come up by themselves, and these vaccine is tested on human beings. Now, when these volunteers are young, healthy, adult volunteers and are of small groups, these people are tested with the vaccine. If the response is good, if it is safe, then they are sent to the phase 2. In phase 2, hundreds of volunteers, this vaccine is tested, and it is checked whether the immune response is good, is it safe, and also what is the correct dosage should be given is checked. Now we'll see phase 3. In phase 3, thousands of volunteers are there, and in this phase they test whether it is effective or not. How effect is it showing is tested in phase 3. Next, it is approved as a vaccine when it is assessed by an independent regulator. Here, this body, it checks effective, safety and manufacturing quality of a vaccine. Then finally it is certified by the government. These are the steps that a vaccine undergoes. Now we'll see COVID vaccines. As I have said earlier, each vaccine works in the same way, but they use different technologies in different vaccines. Based on how they work, these COVID vaccines are categorized of 3 types. First is inactivated vaccine, second is viral vector vaccine, and third is mRNA vaccine. We'll see what is an inactivated vaccine first. Let us take an example of Covaxin, which comes under the inactivated vaccine. In this, what happens? They take the corona itself, that is SARS-CoV-2. They create the virus in this lab, the coronavirus in a lab. With using some chemicals, they bring it to its weakened stage, matlab a not harmful stage of the virus, and it is used in the vaccine. So that, as we have discussed earlier, when it enters into the body produces antibodies, but this doesn't cause any harm to our body. This is inactivated vaccine. Next, viral vector vaccines. Example of this viral vector vaccine is Covishield and Sputnik V. In this, what happens, if I take the example of Covishield, a chimpanzee adenovirus is taken. What is adenovirus? It is nothing but a name of a family of viruses. Similarly, chimpanzee virus is a kind of virus. Now this virus is taken, and the genetic code which it has is removed and replaced with the genetic code of SARS-CoV-2. SARS-CoV-2 is nothing but corona itself, COVID-19. And now the chimpanzee virus, which has the genetic code of SARS-CoV-2, works like a vaccine in our body. Now, why are these named as viral vector vaccines? We know what is a vector. Mosquitoes are often referred as vectors because they carry disease-causing pathogens and inject them into our body. Similarly, these chimpanzee adenovirus also works as a vector. It gets into our body and injects us with SARS-CoV-2 virus genetic code, that is RNA genetic code, and so that a body builds up immune system against it. This is how Covishield works. And also Sputnik V is also example of viral vector vaccine, but the major difference is that instead of chimpanzee adenovirus, it takes human virus. Now next is mRNA vaccine. What happened in this mRNA vaccine? If you can see in the image, the red color part which is there, which is bulged out as umbrella, that is called as the spike protein of the virus. The mRNA means messenger RNA. if I have to tell further, uh, all viruses which are present, they have RNA, whereas we humans have DNA. Now the spike protein of the coronavirus is taken and used as an antigen in a vaccine. That is what is mRNA. The name itself suggests the RNA of a vaccine is taken, which is spike protein, and then it is used as a vaccine in the vaccine. Now we'll see what is RNA and DNA. RNA is nothing but single stranded, as we have learned earlier, ribonucleic acid, and also DNA means double stranded, that is deoxyribonucleic acid. This was all about vaccines and how they work, what is the technology used, and the examples of RNA vaccines are Moderna and Pfizer. Now in India, many people keep questioning, or they have a doubt, if I have a choice, what should I go with, whether it's Covaxin or Covishield. Whatever vaccine is available for you, just go with it. I have explained you everything. There is nothing, no vaccine is great or no vaccine is less. Yes, when we talk about relative advantages and disadvantages, the interim data indicates that there will be 81% protection for Covaxin, but after taking the first dose of Covishield, there is around 70% of protection. In Covaxin, the interval for the first dose and second dose is less. Covishield, the interval is more and the protection is also more. But both of the vaccines are effective against the virus. Take whatever is available for you, get as soon as possible, get vaccinated as soon as possible. And also studies suggested by immunogenicity studies in the UK states that both are effective against the virus. Now, giving this apart, there are many myths in the society, in India itself, telling that if you are vaccinated, you are only going to live till the next 2 years. Vaccination is not good. No one are getting vaccinated. If you take vaccine, you'll be infected from corona. Many things. People are even started telling that don't get vaccinated because you'll die if you are getting vaccinated. See, now when we step onto the roads, there are many accidents. Similarly, when a vaccine is tested, out of 1000%, at least 20 or 25 people will have side effects. That is a common thing. Whatever product you use, it definitely has side effects. It is common. Similarly, it's for the vaccine also. And it is also next to impossible for getting vaccinated for the complete India, because India's population is 136.64 crores. Look at the number. It is so huge that getting vaccinated for everybody is not important, not easy actually, because there are many people who are eligible for getting vaccinated and some are not. The people who come under the category of not eligible are the ones who have HIV and who are undergoing the chemotherapy treatment, and also the people who have seen allergic differences, who had allergy after taking the first dose, are suggested not to get vaccinated for the second dose. Now these cannot be vaccinated, but the people who are eligible for getting vaccinated can get vaccine. Now when these are vaccinated, herd immunity creates under the people who cannot get vaccinated. What is herd immunity? If a community vaccination is done, then the whole community is protected, and the people such as small children and who cannot get vaccinated, even those can be protected by the people who are get vaccinated. So this is so simple. Go get vaccinated as early as possible and stay home, stay safe. Thank you for spending your precious time to listening to me. Thank you.